Guys, welcome back to the Lifted podcast. I feel like lately we've all been feeling this like we don't have enough time for anything. Like we need more time, or like we need everything by tomorrow, or we need everything by like the end of day today. Like I need it ASAP. I've been feeling this way, and I feel like if I'm feeling this way, there's probably a ton of other people that are out there feeling the exact same way. Like, I feel like technology has put this huge urgency on things. Like we need stuff tomorrow and we need stuff next week and we need stuff like if I want something, like I'm getting it now. It's like the 2 day shipping on Amazon. It's like you can order something and it's literally at your house in a day or 2 days or whatever it is. And I think it's not a bad thing, but it's not really the best thing. Like, I feel like I've been feeling this so much lately, and I'm going to tell you guys a couple stories in this podcast, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate. They happened the other day, but even a while ago, one of my teachers, it was probably, oh my God, you guys, it was probably like grade seven, maybe grade. Well, when did I have a phone? Maybe it was like grade 10. I was in grade 10, I'm going to say. I'm not sure. But one of my teachers was like, we're all becoming so impatient. Like, if you think about it, your phone, when you send a message, okay, so messages are instant. Like, when you get a text message, you get it right away. When you get a Snapchat, you get it right away. When you get like, you send a Facebook message, you send that and the other person gets it right away. Like we have this speed in our generations, whatever, that it's actually baffling that we're able to like talk to people that quick. Like if you think about our parents didn't have like any access to that. They had like phones. You could like pick up the phone and call someone, but you couldn't like text someone in like 2 seconds. You couldn't send a message in a second and the other person knows what's up, you know? And so my teacher was like, we're becoming so impatient because if our phone doesn't load in like the next like 5 seconds, even like 2 seconds, we're like, oh my God, the internet's so slow. Like, what is happening? Why is everything so slow? Like, we freak out. We literally freak out. If we don't have fast Wi Fi, I can remember multiple times when, like, the last Airbnb that we went to, the Wi Fi sucked. Like, it was awful. And I was like, I have to work. Like, I have to be on my laptop and I have to, post things and I have to that kind of stuff. And I can't do that if I don't have fast Wi Fi. So, like, we're going around to different cafes finding fast Wi Fi, and there's just this speed. Like, you think about Amazon, stuff is here in 2 days. Uber Eats, you can literally get a meal to your doorstep in like a, what, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Everything's becoming so fast, and I think it's creating this like sense of urgency for all of us. I mean, you look at these, and this will lead into my story that's like, oh my God, I can't believe I just feel like I'm so dramatic about stuff, you guys, that it's just over the top, okay? If you know me as a person, you know that I'll be dramatic, like about everything. I will lose my mind, okay? Um, but yeah, like even if you go on YouTube, it's like, oh my God, get $10,000 in a week, or get like, you can make $10,000 every month and it only takes a week to set up. Or, you know, even like marketing is like that. You think of the stuff that's like, you can lose 10 pounds in 10 days. And all the fitness coaches that are listening will be like, that's fucking ridiculous and it's not true. But that's what marketing is. People want stuff tomorrow. Like they want it so quick. And it's like there's no patience in the world anymore. So let me tell you about these mental breakdowns that I've had like in the last like probably week, 2 weeks. I'm almost embarrassed to like tell you guys this story, but I'm still going to tell you guys a story. So I've had two now mental breakdowns, and to be honest, I think I just wanted to rant about stuff. But um, you guys know that James and I both work on Lifted together, so it's like we're both doing a lot of the stuff, a lot of the back end stuff, a lot of, we have the fitness app, we have the podcast, we've got the YouTube channel, we have all of the different platforms. So I think with all the social medias that I'm running, I think it's like a total of like 10 pages. It's just a ridiculous amount, okay? It's just a lot of social media. And the other day, I was like, what can we do better? How do we do it faster? How do we make what we're doing happen quicker? Like, I literally was um, just expressing this need for it to come tomorrow. I was like, I need everything to happen faster. I need us to grow faster. I need the Facebook group to grow faster. And it was just this expression of like, I basically want it to grow and I want it to grow now and tomorrow. And I want it to be huge and I want it to be this. And there was this sense of like urgency and like, I need it ASAP. And like, if I don't get it ASAP, I'm just going to lose my mind because I have this. Well, where did this all stem from? I'm not even really sure if I'm being honest with you guys. I think what happened was I started looking at, this is ironic that I'm doing a podcast because I started looking at podcast couches and like, I don't know if you guys know how fucking expensive a couch is and like, especially a pretty one. If you want a pretty couch, it is about $7,000. The pretty couch that I want is about $7,000, okay? And that's great. That's fun. And then there's these two chairs that I want because I'm like, well, maybe I won't get a couch, maybe I'll get chairs. The chairs are a lot cheaper, but it's still, a couple $1,000s. And then from there, I started looking at our entire apartment and being like, how can I change it, make it look better? What else do I need, basically? Like, what kind of material things do I need in my house? And, you start looking at stuff and then you start racking up all the prices. And then you're like, well, I work really hard. Maybe I should be richer. Maybe I should have more money. I should be able to drop money at the drop of a hat, like just because, X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. And so I just let that completely take over what I'm doing. And it's like, I no longer focus on the importance of, like, for that, probably that whole day, I was like, how can I make everything more efficient? How can I make it go faster? How can I make, but like, nothing's built that fast. And like, I think we lose sight of that really easily just because of the world that we live in. So you can easily go on social media and look at someone's page and oh my God, they're traveling. And you don't see anything before that. So you might not know the person. You might see, oh my God, they've been traveling for like, I don't know, they've been traveling all week. They're going to Thailand. They're going to all these places that maybe you want to go. Maybe they're going to Bali and you really want to go to Bali. And you're like, well, that's not fair. Like, how did they get there and I'm here? And then you start comparing. Then it makes it even worse when realistically, that person probably saved up for months, maybe even years. Like, maybe they saved up for the longest time because that's where they wanted to go. Like, I think we have this false comparison that's going on right now when we just really have no idea what anyone's going through and what anyone did to get to the position that they're in. So, yeah, that's what I broke down about. I literally lost my mind. I was like, I had a whole freak out. I was like, everything needs to be more efficient. We need to be more efficient. Maybe we need to get different people doing different things. When realistically, like, I look at what we're doing right now and like, it works. Like, it works really well. Like, James is really creative and he knows all the video stuff and he knows what he's doing with like all like just how everything looks is so much not me, you know? And then I'm able to do a lot of the other stuff, like a lot of like the community stuff and talking to, you know, all the girls in the community, getting back to messages, being able to like put the posts together and post them and like it works, and it's like I have tried before to get other people on the team, and I think we've just noticed that it's a lot easier to run stuff ourselves. Like, it's a lot easier to do things yourself, which sounds like I sound like that person that's like, oh my God, I can't get anyone else involved in the business because they're going to fuck it up. It's not really what I'm saying. We've tried before, and I think in the future it could be great. I just think that right now, like, it doesn't make any sense because we're doing fine by ourselves. You know, like if we needed someone and we needed the help or whatever, I would totally look into it. But at the same time, like, we've kind of got our bases covered. And I also feel like it's a little bit more stress when you do add other people onto the team because you're now having to manage other people and manage like what they're doing and keep them engaged and keep them into it. Like, I think that having a team and having people in your business and stuff, it's great, but you really have to, it's a whole nother job to manage people, you know? And I just don't think I want to take that on. So, anyways, that was my mental breakdown, and we have now come full circle and come onto the other side of it. But I also just wanted to talk about it because I feel like I'm sure that girls have like broken down about this. I'm sure you guys have gone on the internet and seen other people making tons of money or other people saying that they make all this money and saying that they're able to travel all the time. And it's like a lot of times it's just not realistic, especially like in this economy that we're living in, um, which I don't really care to talk about, to be honest. But there's also this thing, I looked it up, okay? It's called chronic time pressure. So I'm going to read this out to you. It refers to the persistent feeling of being short on time, often characterized by a constant sense of urgency, stress, and the inability to keep up with demands or responsibilities. So it's like you're basically just feeling this ongoing, consistent struggle of like, I feel like I need to do everything right now and everything like have you ever written a to-do list and you don't feel satisfied until the entire to-do list is done and you feel like you have to get it done right now and you have like no extra, like that's what it feels like constantly. And I think this is just me coming to conclusions. So much of it does come from social media because we do have like a false sense of time now because we're comparing to so many other people that we almost make up stories in our heads. So maybe you see this girl and she's traveling and she's in Bali and you're like, I've always wanted to go to Bali. Like, why does she get to go there and blah, blah, blah. And realistically, why is there a hair here? It's so annoying. Realistically, like she saved up for so long, but we make up this story in our head that, well, she probably just, like went tomorrow or like went the next day, like that when she wanted to. She probably just booked her fucking flight and, she just got it the next day because why wouldn't she? Like, we're able to make up these random stories that make zero sense if you actually logically think about them. But because we're on social media just scrolling and looking at what everyone else is doing, it's like you're able to do that because you don't logically think about shit. Like, when was the last time you logically thought about anything when you're on social? Like, usually you don't. You're usually like, you just create these stories and create this almost hole for yourself, um, which takes away the time aspect of anything. So, like, that's probably something like instant gratification. So, like, when you okay, instant gratification is just getting something right away. Like you had no waiting time. You literally just got it. You, like tomorrow I booked a trip to Bali. You have no waiting time for that. You're not anticipating anything. You're not waiting for it. It just happens. It's like eating a chocolate bar right away and you're like instantly happy because you're like, well, I just wanted chocolate and it also like releases that dopamine. So, there's a lot of cost to this. Like if you don't have okay, here's the thing about the business. Let's go from here. Business is never going to happen overnight. If it does, great. But realistically, when you get into business, and so many other business owners that watch this or listen to this will understand that you get into it and, you know, sometimes you get into it for the money aspect. Sometimes you get into it because you've got a passion for it. Like, whatever you're getting into it for, a lot of times people will get into business and they'll like try to open a business because they're like, oh my God, it's fast money. Everyone's saying it's fast money, but it isn't. Like, it genuinely isn't. You have to build it. You're going to go through like hard times. You're going to go through difficult times. You're going to be probably stressed a lot of the time. Like, you're probably going to be stressed if the business is going down, but you're also going to be stressed if the business is going up because you want it to continue to go up. And if it's just going straight, then you're probably going to be stressed because you're like, well, I want it to go up. Why is it not going up? So there's so many costs of this like instant gratification. Like, it's not something that you want all the time, realistically. It comes with a lot of stress, it comes with a lot of anxiety. It can often make you like procrastinate because you don't understand that when you're getting instant gratification all the time, you don't understand that you have to like work for something. So a lot of times you'll procrastinate like projects and stuff at school or projects at work or whatever you're procrastinating. You will do that because you don't understand like the work aspect that goes into stuff because you've always got this instant gratification, you know? So um it's not good. It's just like training. Like, if you're going to the gym and there's so many girls are going to be like, "Oh my God, fucking same." It's like you go to the gym and when you go once, you're not going to see results, right? Like, people want this. Lots of girls want this tomorrow. Like, they will come and they're like, I've been working out for 2 weeks and I haven't lost any weight. I've been working out for a week and, I haven't, and it's like, yeah, girl, it's not going to happen overnight. Like, you literally have to go to the gym a lot more than like 3 times a week for a week. Like, you have to go for like a year, 2 years. Like, it's it's something that you have to learn. And I've learned this through training so much. Like, I feel like I used to want things ASAP. I used to be the girl that, um, well, I told you guys in my last, not my last podcast, but one of my like previous podcasts, I used to take like laxatives at night. And it's basically, they were like these natural ones that just like helps me go to the bathroom in the morning. And it basically made me feel really skinny like all day because you just got rid of like everything. And so that would be like instant gratification. Like, you're just trying to get rid of everything. You're trying to lose weight as fast as you can. It's just like when you go on like a crazy diet for like a week and you've lost like 10 pounds in a week. It's like, first of all, it's not sustainable. But second, you're going to see a lot better results and more sustainable results when you're like training for a year or training for 2 years and you're actually like implementing those habits. The problem is it's really hard. Like, it is not easy when you're trying to, start in the gym or start training or start working out or whatever. Learning to trust the process is really hard, like really hard. Girls come to me and they're like, well, I'm doing hip thrusts every workout. I'm doing squats. I'm doing progressive overload. I'm doing all this stuff. Like, how do I know that it's going to work? And it's like, if you're doing the right stuff and you're putting the work in, it's going to work. Like, it's proven to work. It's scientifically proven to work. It's a matter of you putting your head down and doing it. And I think that is the problem, is that we are so used to this instant gratification. We're so used to being able to get everything at our fingertips so quickly and so easily that if you work for something, it's different. It's what nobody's doing. Nobody's doing that. Like, there's a lot of people that are not doing that, and it makes it so much harder. Like, the business. Honestly, I have these mental breakdowns. Um, my friend calls them mentee bees because it just sounds cuter and it doesn't sound as like mental breakdown just sounds awful. But if you call it a mentee bee, it's like it's kind of cute. Like it's fine. I just cried a little bit. It's okay. I actually don't mind crying. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I don't hate it. Like I actually don't I think it's like a good reset. Like especially for girls, we feel a lot and we have a lot of emotions. And if we don't cry, we're just bottling everything up. So if you do cry, you've let it out, you've reset, you've let your body do what it needs to do. We don't just cry for no reason. Like sometimes we do, but there's usually something, there's something that you have to let out. So, what was I talking about? Oh, my mental breakdowns. So, in business, if you think about it, like your business isn't going to grow overnight. We do have the power of social media. We have the power of like, running ads on social media and whatnot, which is really good. Like it'll help us for sure. It'll help you grow a little bit faster than like maybe my parents would have grown because my parents would have had to like, given flyers and like that kind of shit. We have people on social media that could see our posts. One of my posts could hit 1 million tomorrow. So yes, it can grow really fast, but it is also about being really consistent and learning to trust the process, like in every aspect of your life. Trusting the process in the business has just been a lot of like trusting the fact that our content is good enough to do what it needs to do, right? And like also trusting the process of your content's never going to be perfect at the beginning, but if you just keep doing it and you keep practicing, like I was never this good on camera last year. You put me in front of a camera, I would have been like, what the fuck do I talk about? But now I'm pretty comfortable. Like now I'm like, oh, it's fine. Like I'll just, ramble on about whatever I need to ramble on about. But that's so much of trusting the process and realizing that this isn't just like something that's going to be, some people are really good at it, like right away. And that's where I can't compare myself to them because maybe I could never even do a speech in school. Like, God forbid I go in front of a camera and do one. But some people were really good at it. Some people were pros at giving speeches. My sister, she did one of the speeches at in I don't even know what grade this was, but she did a speech. She went on to the next round and then she went on to the next round and I'm pretty sure she got into like she had to do it in front of the whole school cuz she did really fucking well. And that just means that she's really good at speaking. She's great at it. She has the skills already there. If you're just starting out, like you need to build those skills and you need to, also figure out what works. In the business, it's like you have to figure out what works, find out, and it's this crazy thing of like wanting something tomorrow and not even really working for anything because we just don't have to work for anything anymore. Like, or we think we don't. So, I think through all of this, I've just come to the realization that like having patience is actually a genuine skill. Like, and I don't think I've ever really had it, to be honest. I think that a lot of like, I got a lot of what I wanted when I wanted it when I was growing up. Like, not that I was extremely privileged or extremely rich or, whatever, but I'm that kind of person that would first of all, I'm the youngest sibling, so my parents just let me do what I wanted to do. Not really, like there was a bit of a fight, but not as bad as my sister would have had. So there's that. But then also just like I even think about my apartments and stuff, like I always got the apartments that I wanted. Always, every single time. Like when I applied for them, I think there was one that I didn't get and I had this like extreme breakdown about it. But realistically, like I've always gotten them every single time, you guys, every time. So there is an aspect of like, you need to take a step back and be like, okay, like, where is my patience in all of this? Like, of course, I had these mentee bees and I just wasn't okay and whatever. Um, But don't just let that, like for myself, I wasn't just going to let that just keep happening. Like you have to come to the root of what what the fuck is actually happening? Like why are you breaking down and how do you actually fix it? And yeah, like realistically, if this just worked overnight, I don't think it would be as rewarding because if you get stuff right away, it's just like you didn't even work for it. There's no reward to it. There's no like when you work for something really hard, like and then you get it or something happen like it's so much more exciting. It is so much more exciting and it's so much better. Okay, so I just wanted to also talk about dopamine and like how there's so many things in basically everything in the world right now is like stripping our dopamine. Like it's just taking it away from us. I didn't realize that like okay, scrolling, you know when you're scrolling and you just like you don't even know why you're scrolling anymore. Like you don't even remember the last videos that you just watched. Like you're literally just scrolling to scroll at this point. That means you're out of dopamine. Do you know how fast our phones take our dopamine? Like, do you understand why people tell you not to use it in the morning and stuff? Because if you use it right in the morning, like if you open your phone, if that's the first thing that you do in the morning, which I've actually tried to like stop doing this for this reason, is it literally strips your dopamine so quick. I forget what this podcast said, but like I was listening to one and it was just talking about that. And it literally just like rips us of our dopamine right early in the morning. And we don't know that. And I think if most people knew that, I don't think as many people would go on their phones in the morning because we are now using our phones to keep our mood okay, like to feel okay. Not even good, just okay. Because it is such an addiction and okay, have you ever seen that video of James showed me this like a while ago of the bird that's like it's like the bird that's eating this pill. It's basically just drugs and it's like every time it's getting hits this really high at the first one. And then the second one's like, it's kind of high. And then the next one's like, well, it's sort of high, but like it's shorter and it's not as good. And it keeps doing it. And eventually it just like is this dark little bird that's like so sad and not happy. And like it just is completely stripped of like everything happy. I feel like that's what's happening with our phones is that like we're so just addicted and used to using them and whatever. And now we're just like, if I even want to feel okay, I just have to scroll on my phone, which is so sad. That is so sad. And so I'm trying to, and if you guys want to do this too, you should. I'm trying to not use it in the morning and I'm trying to limit my use at night. So a lot of what I do, especially for Lifted, is like posting on TikTok, posting on Instagram, posting on YouTube. Like a lot of it is screen time and a lot of it is on my phone and on my screens and whatever. And so I'm trying to limit that time spent on there. That like I will post and maybe comment on a couple people's things and then it goes off or I'm listening to a podcast or like something else is happening because I can't keep letting it do that to me, you know? Like I literally can't. And I think so many of us are feeling that almost being tired of their phone. Like they almost just don't even want anything to do with it anymore. And I think that's why we're getting into like a little bit more long form content and stuff to listen to because you don't want that short dopamine rush anymore. Like it's just like stripping us of our sanity, I guess. um yeah, so that's my little rant on time. I feel like I just wanted to share that because I think we should all just go a little bit easier on ourselves. Like, I think there's so much to compare to nowadays. Like, there is so much out there, there's so many people online. The market has never been so, like, saturated with literally everything. Also, AI is taking over the world. Lots of the influencers online are AI now, which is like crazy to me. So actually, my aunt just posted something. I wonder if she listens to my podcast. I'm not sure. But she just posted something and she posted a video of her as an AI model. And she was like, this is so scary. Like, she looked like she was 20. I think she's just in her late 50s, I want to say. And don't worry, I can say that. I think she's really open about it. Um, she looked like she was 20, literally. And like fake boobs, everything. Like her skin was so clear. She looked like she just did like face app for her or Facetune or whatever the fuck that is. Um, on this, and it was a video, you guys. Like I literally saw it and I was like, what the fuck? And she just said this whole thing of like, just be aware of like who you're looking at and what you're looking at and like what you're comparing to, because a lot of it is just not even real anymore. So I just, I'm almost like throwing that out as a, like, just be aware of it, because you can still scroll, you can still look at people's stuff, but being aware of it, I think, helps because, you know, then you're just not comparing as much, or you're actually understanding, you're able to like talk yourself through it. Um, yeah. And growth is not linear, you guys. Um, the podcast has grown since we started. I think this is episode like 30 something. So it's obviously going to get better over time, but it takes time. It literally takes time. Everything takes time. And I think this is just my reminder to you that, like, it's okay. You don't have to have everything tomorrow. Like, you can still work on stuff and work on yourself and, um, like, take that time for yourself, I guess, and things will come. It just doesn't happen tomorrow. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a good week and thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.